There has been a huge debate going on in the MMA community all across the internet ever since Jailin Turner finished Bobby Green in a violent fashion. Everybody, almost everybody, unanimously has said that this was the worst stoppage that they had ever seen in UFC history. And it even sparked a debate of people saying that fighters should hold back when it comes to finishing their fight if the ref doesn't do a good enough job at intervening at the right time. Before I get into it, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think a fighter should ever hold back in a situation where their opponent is clearly finished if the ref fails to do so? Or do you think they should absolutely finish the fight?
Ultimate Punching!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ultimate Punching, the Ultimate MMA channel. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I'm going to get into the rest of the video in just a moment, but if you don't mind, I'd like it if you could hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps me grow the channel. So as we have seen, there have been several major knockouts in the last few years in MMA, where the guy is clearly done, and yet he eats a few more shots. Not so much as what we saw in the Bobby Green-Jailin Turner fight, where the ref is just absolutely negligent. Instead, what we've seen are situations where the ref might not be able to just get there fast enough to protect the fighter. A few examples of this would be Masvidal versus Ben Askren. When he hit him with that flying knee, he was done before he hit the ground. But he couldn't get there, the ref couldn't get there fast enough before the guy ate a couple additional shots. Another example of this would be Francis Ngannou when he hit Alistair Overeem with that uppercut from hell. Once again, the ref couldn't get there in time before he Overeem ate a couple more hammer fists. Similarly, we look at when Curtis Blaydes ate an uppercut from Derek Lewis. He ate a few more shots after he was clearly done. And so what I've been seeing the last couple of days on MMA Twitter and MMA and the online MMA community is people actually suggesting that a fighter should hold back in these circumstances. Now, we do have examples, and we do have situations where we have seen fighters who notice and recognize that their opponent is clearly done. And they're like, holding back. They're like, he's done. I don't want to hit him anymore. I don't want this on my conscience. But the ref refuses to step in, so they have to hit him a couple more times. And that's commendable. Huge amount of respect for people who have that level of restraint. But at the same time, I can think of a couple of examples where a fighter is not quite done, but the fighter thinks it's done. They manage to rally, come back, and make the evening a lot more difficult because the fighter didn't finish the fight. So, first and foremost, I do not blame Jailin Turner at all for making those additional shots. I don't blame Masvidal. I don't blame Derek Lewis. I don't blame Francis Ngannou. And I don't blame any other fighters because they are instructed when they enter the octagon, don't stop until I tell you to, right? Protect yourself at all times. These are the instructions that are given to each and every fighter before a bout. Now, it's commendable to show that level of mercy, absolutely, but at the same time, there's so much on the line, right? There's positioning, there's money, there's career, there's longevity, there's all of these things, right? So the potential title implications. What they really need to do is make sure that the referees in charge are paying attention and know exactly when they need to step in to stop the fight, and the referees are active and paying attention in all of these different things. In the case of the Jailin Turner-Bobby Green fight, for whatever reason, to me, it looked like Bobby Green ate maybe 8 to 10 shots that probably shouldn't have landed. The referee should have intervened sooner. And everybody has an off night, right? It looks like the guy maybe spaced out, whatever the case may be. In other cases, the ref just couldn't get there in time before the guy ate those additional shots. But either way, I truly believe that fighters should not be responsible to do anything other than what the ref tells them. Commendable, yes, but in certain situations it could lead to negative outcomes for that fighter, specifically in terms of their career, longevity, whatever the case may be. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are looking at this and they are saying like, oh, they should stop. They should have restraint. They're not a true martial artist or a true MMA, whatever, until they stop the fight beforehand. Oh, he should have some empathy to feel like what it would be on the other end. Listen, these guys are adults. They're tough guys. They know what they've signed up for. They know what they've gotten themselves into. And again, I don't want people eating unnecessary shots. I don't want people taking damage unnecessarily. Absolutely not. But at the same time, both people go into a fight knowing that these type of things could happen, right? Yes, refs should be held accountable. Yes, there should be consequences if you make blunders like the one that we saw last Saturday. But it should not be pinned on the fighters themselves. It shouldn't be the fighter's decision to determine whether or not their opponent has had enough, whether or not their opponent is truly done. Because at the end of the day, they could misread things, the adrenaline, they could see a situation where, the guy looks like he's done, but then he can come back and, who knows what else is going to happen. So as far as I'm concerned, the issue is quite simple. In my opinion, fighters should not hold back. They should not stop until the ref pulls them off, because there's way too much at stake. There's way too much money on the line. It could damage their future careers and everything like that if they hold back. So every single time that something like this happens, to quote George Masvidal, it's super necessary that they keep going until the ref pulls them off, because there's no other way to go about it. As I said before, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think fighters should show any level of restraint? And once again, I'm going to say it again, I do think it's commendable when fighters show that level of restraint. I just don't think us as fans or the general MMA community should have to put an additional level of pressure on them over and above what they currently have to deal with, which is protecting themselves, trying to get a win, trying to get paid. And that's the case for every single fighter on that roster. So anyone calling for them to, add additional levels of restraint, calling them to show some empathy, it's commendable. But in that moment, they have been instructed. Follow my instructions at all times. Do not stop until I stop you. Protect yourself at all times. So more so than anything, it's 100% on the ref. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that fighters should show any level of restraint. Yeah, thanks for watching.